Hey!
Oh, Beto.
To the offload, to the pick. We're back. This is Brad Mason.
Episode 8, John Lankford.
And we're here for all the fun that you can handle and stand. So, right off the bat, I want to mention Incompetech.com. Get your music there. This is Kevin MacLeod's song called Cyber Ninja playing in the background. It's always our opener, and we're holding.
No, we're not holding.
I thought we were holding.
I did.
You gave me a hand sign that said let's hold for a second. So go there and you can get you some music in case you need to, next prostate exam, you need some really good intro music.
Get you amped up.
I'm saying if you go in there for a prostate exam and you get on some like real theatrical, dun, 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 put it on your phone and play it right when they're getting ready to make entry. Maybe the Space Odyssey, you know what I'm saying?
I hope your wife never hears you say that.
Well, you know what I'm saying. When you're getting ready to get checked out, go ahead and play your music, and they're gonna feel like they're going into space. So check it out. That's a good place to get some music. Probably
Inner
not.
Space.
Yeah, probably not for that specific example, but I like to give you options here, people. So anyway, so this week podcast number what are we on? We're on number 8. So
man,
congratulations.
we're gonna lose count soon.
Yeah, we'll make it to 10, and then we're done. We can't go any higher than that. So this week, this podcast, talking about just everything.
We got no topics.
So we got,
the Olympics.
The Olympics.
What's been going on?
Have you watched the Olympics?
No.
I've seen, I watched some tandem slalom skiing. There's a lot of S's in that.
That's alliteration, homie.
Yeah. So I watched that, and they were running into flags for some reason, and I don't know what that is. And I told my wife, I said, I think I can do that. I could fall downhill and hit every one of those flags. And she's like, no, I don't think you can. So
I don't think the Winter Olympics has ever been important. I know we just talked about a few minutes ago about how NBC has lost a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. They're $12 billion in the hole. They're calling it a
boondoggle.
Who knows? Anybody know what a boondoggle is? It's a big word.
I thought that's what you had to get for the Apple phone so you could use a headset.
You boondoggle that. I need to work that in my conversation. So $12 billion with a B, billion, $12 billion boondoggle. And it's like me and you talk about. I don't think anybody gives a crap about the Winter Olympics.
Give two rats behinds about it.
No, but it's to me. If you look at, I used to go snowboarding a lot, right? You go snowboarding, skiing, or whatever. You went up there and did that, and it wound up being, I don't want to say it was a Richie's type sport, but it wasn't really a lot of poor people doing it. We're over there on tubes going down the hill.
Yeah, so. It is an uppity thing. The Winter Olympics, not everybody has access to snow and $100 skis or whatever else kind of crap.
So it's amazing to me. I think it's cool to watch sometimes. I think I know a lot of people like the figure skating. Figure skating was, when I was growing up, my mom always had figure skating on at the Winter Olympics.
I think she
loved watching that.
Us growing up, we grew up with Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding and all that.
So
that drew a lot of, even though it was negative attention.
Getting piped.
Yeah, I hope your wife never hears you say that either.
You got piped in the leg. So I'm just, I agree with you.
But that drew a lot of attention to figure skating for that.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not even that year. The year after. A couple years later.
The whole purpose of this show that we're doing, if you look at our graphic, if you look at, we're using kind of an old school video game because that's what we're kind of talking about. I'm kind of nostalgic a little bit about our era of the '80s. We grew up in the '80s. We're '80s kids. Awesome. It was the time when the U.S. defeated the Russians in hockey, and it was, it was
82?
Yes, it was Stallone. Come on, Rocky beat the daggum Drago. Who didn't love that?
I was just talking about
legit.
I was just talking about Rocky 4 the other day because there was a rumor last week that Sylvester Stallone died.
Oh no!
Yeah, and he was tweeting pictures of himself at the gym. He's like, despite rumors, I'm still here working.
He's still over there injecting
my
himself.
girlfriend was talking about it, and I was like, "Have you ever seen Rocky 4?" And she said no, and I was like, "Know what we're doing this weekend?"
Never saw Rocky 4.
That movie is.
How do you not? This is one of the greatest. I break you. There's
another impression. That is a masterwork of American cinema.
Is it not?
At the end, when they're fighting and the crowd starts cheering for Rocky, and Rocky grabs the mic and says, "If I can change and you can change, maybe we all can change."
Yeah.
Look, I got pimples right now. That junk is awesome.
But that was, I think that was, we talk about, I think we so much romanticize the Greatest Generation, and we so much, because we love World War II. I love World War II movies.
Oh, yeah.
I love World War II games. I love the idea that the world rose up to defeat this evil. It's bigger than us, right? So it's huge. And I love that. And so when you get to the 80s and you've got the Cold War between us and Russia, you've got Reagan giving some of the most pro-American speeches you've ever heard. Yeah. And he's this nationalism, the love of country, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
It was huge. Everybody had it. It was wildfire.
Yeah.
And so it made it into the movies and it made it into TV and video games. I mean, it was everywhere.
And now if you sport an American flag or anything, you're racist. And
somebody's wanting to stomp on you, and somebody's wanting to say that, it's amazing to me how we flipped so in 20, 30 years.
I mean, it was the same thing. It's cyclical. In the 70s during Vietnam, people had the same.
Cyclical. Can't you get cut with one of those?
Ain't that what the Grim Reaper has?
He got a cyclical. So
but the 70s, people hated America because of Vietnam, and it was just. And in the 80s, it kind of.
But why is it always? And I don't. Anybody listening to this, don't take offense to this next statement. But why is it always the marshmallows that are upset with the country? Because if you look at the 70s,
the marshmallows,
I just call them. Everybody calls them snowflakes, marshmallows, puff balls, whatever you want to call them.
What are you?
I'm just saying it's the people. You look at the hippies of the 70s, right? Okay. They were not the pro-American. They didn't want to go to Vietnam because they loved Americans so much we shouldn't do war. It was that they were just we shouldn't do war. You heard me. They were just so there were LSD and all that stuff. They were just strung out. They were just
free love, man.
Free love, man. Free love gets you a free disease, man. So, but I'm just saying, if you look at the times now, the people who are pro-American, the people who are hardworking, the people who show up every day, the people who are putting this is sweat of their brow to put food on the table for their family, and it always seems like that the other side of that fence, the people who are hating this country right now, are the people who are contributing the least.
Yeah, the ones that disagree the most with what we do, and
they disagree with everything.
Yeah.
They don't like when the sun comes up. They don't like when it goes down. The moon was up yesterday. I'm upset about that. I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, and how that it relates to the Olympics, but because it goes back to the 80s, right? It goes back to our generation, right? It goes back to when we had an enemy that we could face, and now we're fighting all these wars in 100 different places, and we don't have a face for our enemy other than.
I mean. Just, and I wasn't a huge comic book fan growing up. I didn't read a lot of comic books, but you look at the comic books of like Superman fighting Hitler and all that. They put a face to the evil.
Yeah.
We can't do that now.
No.
I mean, the face now is, again, you can bleep this if you want to, but it's a brown guy.
What does that mean?
Just a random brown guy that wears a rag on his head.
Really?
That's our enemy.
We're blaming the brown guy.
I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's our enemy.
No, you're right. And I think, sadly, a lot of good people get caught up in that.
Exactly.
There are a lot of people who have nothing to do with that who look like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who believe the total opposite of what that particular sect of people believe. But we lump them in because they look like that, and that's not right.
Well, I think if you're
holy cow, we're on race.
Yeah. Well, we
abort
where we didn't want to be. But if you're listening to this show, you're going to find out real quick that me and John do agree on this situation that as Americans and being Americans, that we should support Americans.
It
and we
means
should
something.
Absolutely, it's more than just something. It's more than just a piece of cloth that we hang off the wall, or it's even goes to when we talked about the NFL and those guys kneeling for the anthem. It goes beyond that. I understand you got a right to protest. I get that. But if we can't commonly stand, even as flawed as America is, even as broken sometimes as she is, and it doesn't seem to work for everybody, even as it is, we still have to have that hope and that dream that we're going to accomplish something better together.
That commonality among many different diverse groups of people. That's what we do not have anymore.
No. We've got, what we have now is where everybody's opinion, and thanks to the internet and shows like our podcast, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody
has a platform
absolutely.
To air that opinion.
Be as loud as you want and scream everybody down, and if people don't agree with you, this is what gets me though. These days, if people don't agree with you or you disagree with them, you're some kind of bigot.
If you disagree with a black person, you're racist.
Yeah, you disagree with a white person, you're racist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's both sides of the fence.
Like me and you, I don't know many things that we disagree on. We got to find that so we can have a little bit more fun on these podcasts.
Yeah.
There's not much that we disagree on, but when we do disagree on something, I don't storm out and call you a fat bald.
You have.
But that's just random.
You did just call me fat bald guy just randomly. Yeah. So, and I know that's all in bro love. So right there. Anyway, so hold on. Did you just take that up to Jesus?
Yeah.
Well, you're kissing your fingers and throwing them into the sky.
I hit a home run, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. So, yeah, but I think we just went down a rabbit trail there that we didn't intend to.
So Olympics.
We started with the Olympics and wound up on some kind of, you said brown guy with a rag. That's horrible. His name is John Langford. If you want his address, please email me and I'll make sure to give you that to him. Anyway. So, so this week, I do it sometimes. So this week, SpaceX, and we talk a lot about SpaceX, and we talk a lot about Elon Musk, and it's hot, it's news. I love outer space. I grew up a sci-fi nerd.
I love space.
Did you watch sci-fi movies growing up? Were you big sci-fi TV shows, Star Trek, any of that stuff?
My dad wasn't telling me to go outside and play.
Yeah,
Stop being gay.
What? Stop being gay.
Stop being a space nerd, gay boy.
That's hilarious.
Go get a job.
Oh, man.
That's what he told me on my 6th birthday.
You were like 23. Leave me alone, Dad. But, I grew up, I love space. I watched the old Star Trek with William Shatner. I watched the Next Generation. I watched Deep Space Nine. I watched Voyager.
I watched the educational stuff. I like who was the guy who did the...
Fred Rogers.
No, the guy who...
The guy on Sesame Street, Mr. Noodle. Mr. Noodle. Okay, he's my favorite. Come on.
Carry on with your conversation.
Anyway, he's trying to struggle with the name there, but anyway, so I grew up, watching all those space movies. I think you get into Alien, you get into all these Close Encounters, you get into, some of the greatest space movies came out of the 80s, and so I grew up in a lot of that. And then to me, my dad took me out when I was a kid. We lived in Arizona at one point. We'd go out in the desert, set up a telescope, look at the stars, cool. All this stuff. And so, to me, I have a huge interest in what the SpaceX people are doing. Not that I follow them religiously or anything like that, but it's interesting to me that they're able to accomplish what NASA can't right now. And It doesn't make sense. We're spending billions of dollars. We're giving tons of money in taxes to the government. They have been funding NASA for years, and it's not going anywhere.
There's been an article floating around Reddit that I haven't read yet, but it was talking about if NASA had the budget of the U.S. military, what would we have accomplished? I stumbled on that, but got it out. What would we have accomplished if NASA had the budget of the military?
No, one guy said the reason the SpaceX is so successful is because they don't have to do.
There's no red tape.
Yeah, there's not 200 meetings to discuss how we're going to shoot this thing into space.
Right.
They're not wasting tons of money on figuring it out.
One guy says, get it done.
Yeah, build me a rocket, shoot that junk up, and then get a net. Did you see the boat? Yeah. They literally put a net on a boat, and we're going to try and catch this thing with a boat in the ocean.
Like SpongeBob?
Yes, it's absolutely incredible. I don't even understand. And they got a picture of it they didn't catch it, by the way. It just landed in the water. But they got a picture from the boat of it. They missed it. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to be that guy. You want to be the guy running that boat? And Elon Musk comes to you and says, hey, you're going to go out and you're going to catch this piece of plastic falling out of space.
You missed the boat.
What did you just do over there?
It was supposed to be German, but it turned into Mexican. You missed the boat.
I thought it was the guy from Fantasy Island, the little short guy. Tattoo.
No.
Man, the boat, boss, the boat.
No.
So, I don't know if I want to be the guy in the boat trying to catch the tip of this rocket.
Boy.
It's just, I know that sounds bad, but do you want to be the guy who, and then you got to explain why you missed it. I missed it. Well, upon entry, I missed it. So, but beyond that, okay, so he shoots a satellite into space. The whole purpose of this is he's putting up a satellite to offer internet.
Yeah.
To people who can't normally afford internet.
So how's that going to go with the
net neutrality?
Yeah,
I have no clue. I don't know.
I don't understand net neutrality either. I know a lot of people say that net neutrality is what we want, but they outlawed it to where now that we likely going to have tiers of internet, and you have to pay more to get more access.
That's the problem of net neutrality, as I understand it. I don't have a full grasp on it. If you work for the FCC and you want to censor our communication here, that's fine, but give me some insight on net neutrality. But from what I understand is they're going to offer you they can, instead of now getting internet on your phone, I could be wrong about this. If I am, let me know in the comments, but instead of just getting internet on your phone, now they can charge you for the website you actually visit.
Right. So you're going to get, instead of just getting the internet as a whole, you're going to get YouTube internet. You're going to get Google internet. And then go from Netflix internet. And everything's going to be on a different tier.
Where you might spend $5 to get access to the whole internet, now you might spend $5 for Facebook, $5 for Twitter, $5. They could eventually... it's a they can eventually get to this to the point of where they are charging you for everything you're accessing.
Right.
And I think that's where everybody's having a come unglued.
Yeah, unglued. I don't know if there's regulation with it, then obviously it could be a thing. But then you open it up to the free market, and if YouTube is charging $15 a month for internet access to their site, and then another video hosting site comes along and they're only charging $7, then suddenly YouTube might lose some of that billions of money.
But here's what I don't understand. Here's where I think the net neutrality really gets us is that the cell phone companies are the ones who are going to charge you for access to those sites. Not necessarily that Facebook is charging you.
Netflix going to charge.
So if you have YouTube Red and you're already paying, how much is that a month?
$9.99.
So you're paying $9.95 for that, and then your cell phone company says, "Hey, to access that, we're going to charge you another $5." So now you're already paying $15
for the YouTube tier of internet.
Exactly, and YouTube might not even see any of that money, and that's where I think the FCC chairman, he worked for Verizon.
He did.
He was big cell. I mean, everybody's in somebody's pocket.
He was the one who wanted to repel it the most.
And I heard before. I haven't really read the law. It sounds great. You come on the show and you don't know all the laws, but
that's what we do.
But before Obama, there was no net neutrality.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That net neutrality kind of has come and gone many different times,
right? And it hasn't really
without
affected
this kind of fanfare that it's had recently.
Yeah, because I think you got a lot of if you're on Reddit when all that happened when the vote came up for net neutrality, Reddit was going wild.
Yeah, Reddit was.
Everybody was just all over it. Hey, we got to vote.
Still trying to fight
this.
They're still trying to fight.
And I'm not quite sure it's going to have any impact upon us whatsoever. I don't think cell phone companies. I know these companies are out to make money. I know they want to make more money, but I think they're afraid of losing customers if they jack up prices. I mean, it's already. Cell phone service is already ridiculous in a lot of ways.
You put things on the open market, it will correct itself over time.
Yeah. So
unless they all get in cahoots and say, okay, this is going to be our price that we charge for everything.
Yeah.
Nobody goes under this again.
So and I'm curious. I think you look at Elon Musk, right? We talk about him a lot. We're probably always going to talk about him.
He's in the news.
Because I think he shot up a satellite to offer internet service to people who can't afford it.
Shoot up like 10,000 satellites, right?
That's my point. He has got some kind of master plan here that he's working on a different level than everybody else.
Easy with that.
And
he's already German or whatever. And you
say what you want,
master plan and all that.
He's next thing you know, he's rounding my people up. I don't know. So I'm just saying he's going to send us to a summer camp or something.
No internet for Jews.
No, that'd be the worst. But I'm just saying I think he's got plans to do stuff, and I don't know how humanitarian how driven he is. Is it a humanitarian issue? Is he trying to provide service for people who can't afford it, or is he trying to turn a profit? What's his ultimate goal?
I think a lot of his his comments in general are just things that he was interested in as. He's about our age, coming up, things that he was interested in, and now he kind of has that power to make those changes. And like we talked about when we were talking about the space stuff, this is like spurring on a whole new interest in the space and everything that goes on with space. And my son, he's 9. He's even asked me about stuff, space related stuff, and that's cool.
It's pumping up some really cool
awesome.
space stuff.
It's very, very, and it's I read something that said this could spur on a new space race. That is awesome. I would have loved to have been around in the '60s when we were doing that, trying to get to the moon.
But I think me and you have talked about. I think one of the other episodes we talked about this before a little bit. How much? What is the ultimate goal of going into outer space? What is the ultimate goal of trying to leave the Earth? Alpha what?
Alpha Centauri, man. You never played Civilization?
I played Civilization.
You get a science win. Yeah, that's what Elon Musk is going for. He's going for the science win.
Well, I saw somebody there. My favorite articles are the people who are like, "No, you spend $200 billion to do that. You could have done a whole lot of work here on Earth." And this guy was like, "They didn't shoot the $200 billion into space. They paid people to build the rockets to do all this stuff. Yeah. The money's still here on Earth. It didn't go anywhere." So it's like, I never thought of it that way. But to me, the ultimate. I don't understand what the. I guess. What is the ultimate? Yeah. What is the ultimate goal? Do you think space aliens are? Let's get on this. Do you think space aliens are out there? Are there aliens?
I think my thought on this has always been that it would be naive to believe that there is nothing else out there. Yeah. And as big as that is,
this is where we're opposite of that. But yeah,
as big as everything is, right. I mean, you just look at a state like Wyoming.
That's
where there's like 10 people, right?
Right.
There's 10 people in the whole state.
They own the whole thing.
But there's 10 people in that whole state. Space is like at least twice as big as that.
Yeah. Somebody's phone said.
It wasn't mine.
So, no, I agree. Yeah, space is twice as big as Wyoming.
At least twice as big.
Absolutely. It's got to be the size of Texas.
At least. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I can't say.
Well, nobody knows for sure.
I mean, I can't say, yes, I believe that there are life forms out there. I can't say that. But I believe that there could be.
I was watching a documentary yesterday on Netflix. It was some guy, Patient 17 is the name of it. It's not very good, but it is what it is. I watched
noted.
I watched some horrible stuff on Netflix just because I get bored, and I've watched all the good stuff.
And you've paid for it. Oh, no, and it's free.
Right.
Netflix is free.
So anyway, so this guy's, he's got his abduction stories where he's been abducted by aliens. The whole thing's centered around implants. They're finding these little not computer chips, but they're finding these little pieces of fragments of metal inside of people, just in random spots on people's bodies. Supposedly they're giving off these little radio waves or something. They're not even quite sure. They get in an electron microscope and they look at it, and they try and determine whether it is an earthly metal or if it is a terrestrial. No way, that would be the Earth. If they're I don't even know. Extraterrestrials. Yeah, I don't know. However that word works, they're space metal.
3 balls instead of 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Extraterrestrial.
No. So anyway, they're trying to determine whether or not these things come from outer space. So they cut the guy's leg open, they pull this little piece of metal out, they electron microscope it, that's a tough word, and they look at it, and it's got 56 different chemical compounds. It's got all kinds of aluminum. It's just 56 different metals, and this thing is probably it's smaller than the space I'm making with my fingers. Nobody could see that. So anyway, it's really small. It's smaller than your pinky. It's just ridiculous. But they're saying, we think this is alien technology. They've kidnapped this guy. They've implanted him, and they've got a bunch of other, and the one of the doctors was saying, yeah, this could be just he was working in a
mine.
Yeah, and got a piece of metal in his leg, never knew it, didn't even think about it. Small as they are, it's not like you're finding a huge microchip in him and pulling it out.
Don't the human body have like iron and magnesium and all kinds of other metals already in it? Yeah,
we're dirt anyway. So I mean, but I don't. I think when you look at the space race stuff and the SpaceX stuff, I wonder. We've spent so much money on trying to communicate with aliens and shooting things into outer space. I watched Pixels today. Did you ever see that with Adam Sandler? Well, most people give that movie a horrible review when it came out, but it's I think it is a what's the new one with Spielberg coming up? It's got all the video game references in it.
Ready Player One.
Yes, Ready Player One. So Pixels is like an early version of that, and it's about they shot this thing into space in the 80s. Aliens thought it was a threat, and so they come down to destroy the Earth, and they have to play video games to win. And they drop in Q*bert, they drop in Pac-Man. It's really cool. Graphics are awesome.
You know a funny story about Pac-Man?
What about it?
The original one called it Pac-Man.
No, don't say that. You've seen too much stupid Scott Pilgrim Saves the World. You really worked that in. You worked that in. I'm sorry, we disgraced one of our favorite movies. Well, you worked that in here. That was flawless. So anyway, you done threw me. See, but aliens, space aliens, yeah. So I think that's why I watched all that stuff when I was a kid, because it's the Earth. You look at movies in Hollywood and all the TV shows that are coming back around, right? So Netflix is coming back with Lost in Space. They're bringing Lost in Space back. I mean, I can't think there's 3 or 4. They brought MacGyver back. It's some young kid playing MacGyver on TV. You've got Lethal Weapon on, I think it's Fox or something. I don't know. But I mean, it's just like we've run out of ideas, and so we're going back to the trash can and recycling stuff. We're just bringing back old. They might be good. I'm not saying they're not. But we're bringing back old things we used to do because we really don't have any creative
new ideas.
Right. I think that's why and we talk about movies a lot. I think it's why Marvel Universe is knocking it out of the park right now, is because a lot of their ideas, yes, they were in comic book form, but the majority of people never read them and never saw it. They don't know it.
Me neither. I didn't.
And so it is fresh, new content coming to a movie screen, and it's just dominating.
But we were talking about space.
Where'd
you get off
my
on
whole
Netflix?
point of space is that I think it's the unknown that makes people want to go there. It's the Earth. These ideas, we've seen it all, we've done it all. It's all here. It's and we're looking to go out there and run into something that we've never experienced and something we've never seen before.
So what's your take on it? Do you believe there's something else out there?
No, I don't.
So my argument to that would be, for the longest time, we thought we discovered everything in the oceans, right?
Right.
We still discover stuff every year.
Yep, you got a good point there.
New species discovered every year in the ocean. That's our ocean.
But we haven't discovered one.
Space is
we haven't discovered one thing in space.
Because
aliens.
It's so much bigger.
I guarantee.
We're only looking at
I agree with that. I agree with that completely.
Of what we can see.
And that all
I
that.
got a hole in my shorts.
Well, then stop. Don't put that through the hole. Nobody wants to see that. God. So. Yeah, but no, I don't. I think we're it. Because from my perspective, for most people, you don't know, I have a real religious view about these things. But my perspective is that's what makes us special. For me, that's what makes us special, is that we are it. We are the central thing that God had wanted to make and love and care about. And so that's why I think are there space aliens? No, I don't think there are. I love the idea, love the concept. If there are, would that ruin any of my own theology or beliefs? Absolutely not. No, I don't think there's always ways to see things, but I don't think there are. I could be wrong. If you're a space alien, you're getting this podcast and you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment and do so.
I think I'm on the same lines as you. I think I don't know. I'm not as
no. It's
defined.
Hard not to. It's hard not to know.
It's hard.
Hard to know.
Hard to know.
Hard to know.
It's easy not.
It's
to know.
easy not to.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, and I'm not willing to definitively say yes or no.
No, I can, and I agree with that, and I can give you a little bit of concession on that. I will say, for me, it's sadly definitively no. I don't believe it. If I see it, that would be great. It would probably change my mind to some degree. But
we're talking about just life forms, not what we see on TV, right? Well, not those aliens with the long heads. And all that stuff.
It's got to be an alien.
You're talking like that, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about another conscious being. Not
if they find a little amoeba or something.
If they find a space slug floating around that's no big deal. I have no issues with space slugs and animals on other planets. I'm talking about a conscious, living life form that is built a spaceship to travel all the way across here to abduct people and butt diddle them. Right? That's the claim of most of these people who've been abducted. I got abducted. I got pulled up into a ship. They stuck something in my rear end. Yes, they stuck something in my rear end. Immediately, the first thing I'm thinking is, no, that didn't happen. Nobody wants to do that to you. I mean, I don't get it. So I just, but. I've seen stuff. We've seen stuff. I've seen stuff in the sky that I don't know what it is, and
I've seen stuff before where I was just like, that don't seem right.
But seeing is not always. These days, seeing is not believing, because the internet is full of, hey, look at this video, and it's fake.
Dude, when I was a kid, I remember I was born in '78, so that was when the first Richard Donner Superman came out in 1978, maybe '77, and then I remember watching Superman. I think it was 2. At the very beginning, when the boy is on the Niagara Falls and he's on the thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was one of the first times in my life my mind was blown. I can remember watching that, and I was like, holy cow, a man can fly.
A man can fly. You darn right a man can fly.
And I was just like, oh, man, that is so awesome. And that stuck with me all the way. It's been, 38 years later, and that's still with me, that feeling when like you go back to the thing, seeing is not always believing.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to take leaps of faith sometimes and just believe without seeing.
I mean, I was a huge X-Files fan. Love the X-Files. Still love the X-Files.
Never watched it.
One of my favorite shows. But the whole premise of that show is got to believe there's something out there. It was this whole idea that aliens and the government are in cahoots.
I never watched it, so they have one who didn't believe in anything and one that believed in everything.
That's the way you have to pair things up. It's the odd couple of outer space.
Like us.
And, so I really loved that show, and it was because of the creativity. And for me, the sci-fi stuff has always been about creativity. It's always been about
how far unknown. Can your mind go and make this stuff
I think that's why when I look at things that get repeated, like TV shows or movies, it aggravates me, because I'm just like, you really didn't try.
We've always had the argument that there are no new ideas.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
Yeah, there's nothing new
This
anymore.
Podcast is new. Nobody's doing... Oh, everybody's doing podcasts. That's right.
Dude, there is 2 fat white guys somewhere right now recording episode 8 of their podcast.
If I catch those 2 fat... Listen here, fat white guys. I catch you somewhere.
Up, buddy. Somebody's for you.
Somebody is going to be in the world's slowest foot chase. We're all running.
With brakes.
I got to stop.
I'm short of breath just talking here.
So
I barely talked.
That was pretty awesome. You did good. I don't think this episode.
I'm not
going
to pass out. No, it's not a dud.
I'm not giving you mouth to mouth. That's for sure.
We haven't had a dud yet.
No duds. So anyway, that was great. I think space to me is the unknown. I think that's why I like the Elon Musk stuff. I love the rocks. Listen to the sound thing.
Oh, that's awesome. God. The Sound Traveler.
That was incredible.
Dustin. I forgot his last
Hoffman?
name. No. Dustin. He's a rocket engineer or something. That's just cool stuff.
That was if you get a chance, go on YouTube. I'll plug that guy. I don't know. Just look up Sound Traveler. He's got a clip.
It's a channel. It's a channel from the guy who does Smarter Every Day, which is a very cool and informative channel. I watch it quite a bit. But he has a second channel, or maybe even a third channel at this point, called The Sound Traveler, and he goes around and he has the binaural That's
good. That was good. You did it.
Yeah, I did. That's the right way to say it. But he has a binaural podcast, or not podcast, but where he just travels, and he done one for the SpaceX, the Falcon Heavy launch. Yeah. It was cool, man.
When the sonic booms roll in.
Yeah, it was like boom, 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 boom. Oh, man. Like 6 of them, right?
That is one of the most incredible. I wish I had a really great headset to listen to it with, because it was one of the coolest things. You hear the sound in 3D. It's all around you. You hear the directional, and it really puts you in the perspective of being there. Instead of just seeing the video, you're actually kind of a part of it. It was really awesome. Check that out. I think everybody will really like that. On our side of it, check us out on Twitter. We are still blowing Twitter up.
Yeah, we're still try. We're still something right now.
Tweeting the fire out of it. Our main thing is we don't have a lot of Twitter followers. Don't really care. I don't think we have any. We're going to drop a lot of tweets on people. We're just trying to set off the Twitter universe.
We do have some likes though.
Oh, we've got some retweets.
Yeah, we do have people
retweeted. So that's pretty cool. Check us out on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page. Like it, share it. We will be in the future. I'm shooting for episode 9 or 10, getting us on YouTube. So that's going to be our next thing, is to have a YouTube video up so you can see our ugly mugs.
Can we play PUBG while we're doing it?
I don't know how.
I'll bring my box.
How will I even work that out? We'll see how we can do. So we'll try and get something set up for that on episode 9 and 10. But thank you so much to everybody who has been listening. Thank you for the people who are listening in other countries around the world. We're so
that is happy. Insane.
We're so happy to have people listen to us, because we listen to ourselves all the time, and it's just
that is insane that we have people listen to us in other countries.
From us to you, we appreciate it. Check us out. Give us comments. Give us feedback. Like and share, and you will be our best friends ever. All right.
Yep.
Episode 8.
Over
and out.
Love you.